I want to go straight to Nate Silver from 538, our forecasting guru. And Nate, your forecast is changing right now?
And that I think is going to go right down to the wire in Florida.
Matthew, Dad, you worked on the George W. Bush. Another look at the map, the scoreboard right now, see where the electoral votes stand. Barbara Roberts in Johnstown, Pennsylvania. David Muir pinning her hopes on Philadelphia and those all-important Philadelphia suburbs.
Yeah, the collar counties, as they call them, around Philadelphia. It was so interesting to listen to the president last night make a direct appeal, saying, I hope that the moms and dads out there will think about their daughters and the respect for their daughters, in a direct sort of appeal to that moment in the campaign when we heard that audio from that bus. We know this number so far, and those Philadelphia suburbs, George, that you talked about, Obama won them by 7 points. Hillary Clinton is now winning them by 27 points. That was part of their strategy. And in the exit polling, if you even look at what the voters said about Trump and what he said about women on that audio tape and some of the other behavior towards women, take a look at this. 71% of Pennsylvania voters said it bothered them a lot. Only 28% said not at all. So it would appear that at least in those counties around Philadelphia, the strategies work.
And Martha,
so
you
far.
spent a lot of time in those counties as well. The Clinton campaign really pitching directly at women there.
Directly at women, but they don't like her as much as they used to. I mean, they like Donald Trump even less.
And Tom Yamas,
that is right. He hoped outside of Philadelphia. I mean, in those suburbs. Remember, we were in Pennsylvania yesterday. They were on.
Okay, I want to get to the next state to take the Senate.
It is. He was.
But you know, this is also makes Missouri a race.
A person who's made
challenger, the House member, ran a classic outside. I mean, the Democrats recruited
a hit for staying in a hotel room instead of his apartment. No, we will not.
And look, as you said, I mean, two terms. Also, a lot of times a lobbyist. By the way, we have other big news. That Paul Ryan, the challenge now is Paul Ryan is Speaker of the House. He supported Donald Trump but refused to campaign with him. He has control of the Congress. Republicans have control, but there will be a lot of Republicans who price for not more fully supporting Trump.
And I want to bring this to both Koki and Charles. This is going to be a real challenge, both for Paul Ryan and who.
But he's got a whole caucus, if there's a Democratic president, to work with her. And so.
You ever want to be smaller majority. And another challenge to work with Donald Trump. There is no question that by Paul Ryan.
Joe Priebus, who's from Wisconsin, Paul Ryan's state, tried so hard to mend that relationship.
This is, and it's an unbelievable relationship because
even when they met in Washington, you only saw the shot of Trump going in. They never even showed each other together.
But one of the things that we're seeing tonight was 3 big check marks to be checked tonight. They just won a seat in Indiana that nobody expected them to win in the course of this. That's beginning to see where it goes. So they anchor on it. They went in.
That was the debate where Marco Rubio took it on the chin from Chris Christie. He was rising in this race before that happened.
Took it on the chin.
I'll never forget watching him repeat himself. It was actually repeating his argument against President Obama, and we remember
How many times was it? It was
3 times.
Yeah,
3 times. And as a moderator, you let him do it and let the voters notice it themselves. But I'll tell you who else noticed was Governor Chris Christie, who was at one of the other podiums across the stage. And as he was repeating himself again, I look over at Chris and he looks at me. He's like, "I'm ready on this one." I said, I'm not in the game with you.
There he goes again.
He brought up Governor Christie's name, so he invoked his name. So we went to the governor next.
That was pivotal.
Closely. Meantime, we have another one right now.
And Trump is now in Florida of Volusia. 111,000 votes in 2012. He's got almost 100.
The board.
I think going to be very close. Again, this is significant.
And what is the vote? What is the vote gap?
Barack Obama did. And in fact, if you looked at our exit poll statewide, she's at 29% lead among Hispanic voters in the state of Florida. So she is doing significantly better than Obama did among Hispanics in Florida.
They have to take another quick break. More
lead, and there are signs.
About a third of the vote in, but Matthew, hang in there in Florida, maybe ekes out a win in Florida.
If you look at the northern county.
worse in some of the
9 p.m. here on the East Coast. The polls have just closed in 14 more states. Let's put up the scoreboard right now.
100,000 votes. Well, I've mentioned Miami-Dade. In Broward County, this is a county that went overwhelmingly for Barack Obama in 2012 and 2008. Only 16 votes left in Broward County.
Jonathan was talking about the Raleigh-Durham area. Well, the halfway population up 600%. So this is no...
Thanks very much.
Obamaha, because it's basically Omaha and the surrounding areas, and it's a place that the Clinton team is very hopeful.
Yeah, the Clinton team spent some money, did pay some attention.
It's that they never paid attention to before.
To change what we're seeing. Trump kept talking about winning his home state.
Oh, he made a bold prediction, of course, but that clearly as close as possible right now, George.
Florida. So
was that an airport hangar?
State going Democrat.
Lost the state big, so it's false hopes. It's a tough state for
call it, yeah, but
is it going to continue to be a bellwether? Overall, a lot of Democratic votes to still be counted in Broward County.
Polls like settled on Michigan. Hillary went there, and on the last days.
And David Curley is in Detroit. What do you much, David Muir? Jobs always such a big issue in that upper Midwest.
Huge issue, and that was what Donald Trump tried to capitalize on in trying to make Michigan the blue state that he was going to turn. If you take a look here, voters were asked what your job situation was versus 4 years ago. 39% said better today, 36 about the same, 25 said worse today. But it was very interesting that the Clinton campaign will say they were there these final days, sending the president and Hillary Clinton in the last 24 hours because they wanted to do those early.
If he preserves the majority, Paul Ryan has...
Other state has come the same way. Yeah. There, they would...
In Colorado, since I'm right here, Barack Obama pretty handily, so that's a good sign. Back out to the counted in a county that went overwhelmingly.
So you're going to have this race match, several votes.
Yeah, and I think it's going to come down to a few thousand. Florida's going to be within a point.
Another quick break.
Election night 2016. Here again, George Stephanopoulos.
And we are back now here in Times Square. Let's take another look at where the map stands right now. The Electoral College game. Donald Trump is in the game if he can pull out that state of Florida.
Yes, he's
Clinton.
Let's illustrate that right now with Donald Trump all night long as we watch Florida.
He's not going to win in Nevada if he's not going to win in New Hampshire.
David, you picked up one of the signs for why Donald Trump is sort of hanging in there in Florida.
Yeah, if Donald Trump wins in Florida, you can bet that the Clinton campaign is going to look at women voters in Florida. Take a look at this. We zero in on the exit polls. And Clinton is getting 51% of female voters in Florida to Trump's 44%. And I pointed out only because so far the exit polls show her doing much better with women in Michigan, New Hampshire, Ohio, Wisconsin, Georgia, Colorado, North Carolina, and Pennsylvania, where she's doing the best among women. But in Florida, of all the battlegrounds, is where she's performing at this level. She's surpassing this level in every other battleground.
Good.
Seconds.
But Florida may be telling us something about the future in other states.
Coming up, we're live as millions vote across the country. 10 states left to go, including that crucial battleground. Let's go right to John Carl with the latest on Florida.
George, take a look at this. Outstanding. Donald Trump can still, Hillary Clinton can still harvest enough votes in Broward County.
How much of the overall vote is in for Donald Trump?
We're seeing multiple, North Carolina, Ohio. It's going to be a close race.
Those are two states that...
And New Hampshire is, a state that, George, incredibly close.
Certain about Michigan going in. They want to win. They're not 100% elected. And this is something that has hammered...
That just went out. Eric Trump has...
See where it goes from here.
In rural and ex-urban counties.
Castellanos?
It's an amazing story. The missing Trump voter that we've all been wondering. Do that and keep Arizona, that would get Trump to 275.
Martha Raddatz.
Issue, for example, in Ohio, and that's where Trump is leading among those who are.
And this could illustrate the success he's having in rural America tonight.
That is right now. Let's take
Michigan. No chance to do something in New Hampshire, but he's got off to an early.
Across the country, this real split between the rural and the urban areas.
Absolutely. You go 100 miles outside of a major metro, what you're saying happens is they think America is now a better place. But for...
Yeah, I looked at the all 50 states of his...
Understanding of urban America.
This close is really a sign of the strength of Donald Trump.
They had stopped advertising there, Cecilia.
Advertising there, and let's not forget...
Battleground states right now.
Here are 5 that we're looking at. For North Carolina, Virginia, but Virginia...
These states are all so close.
Which she may still win nationally by 5 is a divergence between the national number.
The lead in 3 of those states, he gets elected president. If he holds on to the lead...
Earlier theory and their distaste for the current country.
Charlie.
What's dismaying about this, to me, divided, and that makes it
And Rebecca Jarvis, I think you're wired up right now. What are you seeing?
The closer this looks.
The whole world is watching right now, and all Square. Let's take a look at where things stand right now in this very close race for president.
Must vote lead.
Amy Robach, you're right now. What do we see in the state of Virginia?
The state we've discussed, those northern counties near Washington.
Matthew Dowd, if Donald Trump really needs is one more of those big.
The numbers are, and as we know, all these are ultimately decide the presidency.
Stephanie Cutter, nervousness in the Democratic camp?
Favored to win.
Let's take another look at Michigan. David Muir, what do you have
some
there?
Indicators here from the exit polls. Take a look at this. Tom Yamas was talking about this earlier. When you ask about trade with other countries, we know Donald Trump pounded this issue during his visits to Michigan. 50% of the voters in Michigan said these trade deals takes away jobs here in America. Only 31% said the trade deals create more jobs. And look at this. When you break it down, with other countries take away jobs, if you feel like you're frightened about these trade deals, that the jobs disappear because of them, the breakdown is very clear. You went with Donald Trump 57% to Hillary 36%.
John, I want to go to you in a second, and both of you on Michigan, but we have another call.
By 10% older do not have a 4-year college degree.
A state go to Donald.
This is a state that Barack Obama won. By now, only a quarter of the vote is. Barack Obama won Trump with a lead in Macomb County.
So Michigan, very, very close right now.
But what we're seeing is a divergence, as I said earlier, what anybody thought he was going to get.
Be happy right now, George.
They are watching
to be carrying the hour at this point.
You talk about the divide in this country, the storyline that's sort of emerging here, this difference between urban America and rural America. And take a look at this. I just pulled this up. The U.S. economy, you ask, is the condition of the economy not good or poor? 57% in urban America say it's not good or poor. But look in rural America, 72% say the economy needs to be fixed. You talk about right track, wrong track. Look at this nationwide direction of the country. In urban America, 53% believe we're on the wrong track. But look at that number in rural America, 71% believe this country's on the wrong path.
Terry Moran.
Whoever wins here, what is happening in the United States is part of a pattern across the world, and it goes beyond Brexit. It's essentially ordinary people around the world saying that the way elites have arranged the globalized world through immigration and trade and all that ain't working for them and their families. And when they get a chance to punch the elite in the face, they have.
We're seeing they are sending a message.
95% reporting he still has that significant lead, well over 100,000 votes. Half the vote is in
Michigan right there.
And can I just point out that...
And of course he has Iowa. I wasn't even counting Iowa. He's got Iowa.
And in Michigan and in New Hampshire, remember, Hillary Clinton was dealt a surprise by Bernie Sanders, who had many people have said, a similar message talking to white, working class, blue-collar America about the inequality that so many people are feeling in this country. There are some parallels with Donald Trump's message and Bernie Sanders. I know that frustrated Sanders all through when he joined forces with Hillary Clinton saying, don't vote for him, vote for Hillary. But a lot of people on the ground feel like there's something that resonates about the arguments both of them made. And we remember when Hillary was surprised in the primary campaign.
Our friends at 538 had it as a 99% chance that Hillary Clinton.
2016, we are right here in Times Square. What a dramatic night. What a close election that could get him there.
I see two paths for a Donald Trump victory why they were spending so much time there.
But if he's still president.
If it's 269 to control the House, it's voted by certain that they would choose a Republican president, Donald Trump, because you have to have run. So because there isn't that much led a single public poll, but he's up right now in the raw vote, a little over a quarter voted. The other problem is that Nevada's been a state.
It's the surge of the vote, of his vote, of the tap, and she got